Flannel man, back in action. Well, folks, we've made a little drive over here to my grandmother's house, and as you can see, there is a sad little Ford Escape smashed in the front. My grandmother took it on a little joyride through some trees, through the yard, and then over there. And we had to dig it out, and now we're gonna load it up, take it back up to my house, and see if this is something that we can fix or not, or if it's just time to let this thing go to pasture. And, yeah, there's no exhaust on it. Can't run it real long. There's no radiator or anything left in it. That tire's about flat. Wow, this thing's wider than I thought. I can get out still, so that's good. On the edge a little bit, but she's on there. Let's get it strapped down.
Hello, we're back.
We've got it here at the house now, still on the trailer, haven't taken it off, but we can look now. That piece of the grill's broken out. You can see the bumper support, condenser's bent, radiator's bent, fans are broke. That fan's actually in the radiator. Down here you can see at the very bottom right there's the AC compressor, and that is the drain for the radiator almost touching the AC compressor, so that's bent way back. I'm just worried about down here, this metal right here. This is the cradle that the radiator and the condenser sits in, and you can see there's still trees stuck in it. So if I can get that yanked out with the tractor or something, maybe we can fix this reasonable. I mean, I'm sure you could fix it either way. It's just, is it cost effective to repair it? That's what I don't know. But we're gonna find out. You can see the green dye from the refrigerant. That rail is only ever so slightly kinked at the end. It looks like it just kind of tore the metal more than anything. So I think we can get that straightened back out. We're gonna pop that off, pull the condenser, and I was wrong. It looks like the power steering lines, or the cooler for the power steering's okay. Got that side undone. And then he was able to bend this side right around so that I can get in here and take these guys loose. And then with both of these out of the way, we should be able to slide this whole frame end piece out of here. So that bar came right off. Undid the transmission cooler, got it laid to the side. Tim's taking the upper brackets off for the condenser and the radiator, and this is just for the power steering. I've got it loose over there so it can flop. It poked a hole through the condenser, so all the refrigerant is gone. So I'm gonna pop the two lines right here and take the condenser out, and then maybe that'll give us a better look at the front of the radiator. This is the cradle that does hold the radiator, and it looks like it is welded with those pinch welds right here. Those are some sharp burrs to the front frame rail, so we might have to just figure out how to straighten that up, if it can be straightened up easily enough. We'll see, but let's get this stuff off now. Just about got the last of the 15 damn hoses that are on here off. Look at that dirty little 3-liter. Duratec, bless you, whoever that was. Duratec for the win. Still kicking. Compressor did not break anything. No broken wires. That oil pressure switch looks like it's wet. Would be a great time to replace that.
Save on that fan didn't get broke, that other one did that.
Oh, is that one okay?
Yeah, that was fine.
So one fan survived, the other one didn't. And then the water pump is down here on these, and this would be a fantastic time to to replace that guy. It actually looks like it's kind of wet or greasy one. I'm not sure. We got a power washer. I think this thing needs to have a date with the pressure washer before we get too far in it. I do know that this is pushed way far back because it is touching the valve cover right there. That's not good. So this whole cradle's got to come out, and the hood support's got to come out some. Not a whole lot, but that explains our gap up here in the headlights on the fenders, because when this whole thing went in, it rolled the light. And well, this end actually kind of rolled up because it went in. But yeah, either way, we're going to have to knock on this guy that way a little bit and pull that whole cradle forward. But I think we can do it. Loop the transcooler lines back together and back this girl off the trailer. I'm not used to having a cameraman. I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to prop that thing up. We got both straps?
Yeah.
I told you the transmission cooler line would work. Yeah. Took a 5/16 deep well 1/4 inch socket and put it between it. You know, socket's hollow all the way through, so perfect. It doesn't look, I mean, it's fixable.
Oh, yeah.
We're, like I said, this thing needs a date with a pressure washer anyway. That water pump's definitely been leaking. There's oil all over it. It might be part of a valve cover leak. I'm not sure. Like I said, I know that oil pressure switch is wet too. Those are cheap, you know, 15, 20 bucks. Water pump kit online is probably the same, $30, $40. Changed the belt and the tensioner because the tensioner is shot on this car and the pulleys wore out. It's been that way for years. I just kept putting off replacing it. But since I'm looking at in the freaking eyeball, it would only make sense to go ahead and change it while I can get to it. Sam's gonna move it over into the side yard, and I'm gonna get the frame straightener 5000 woke up. There she goes. You gotta wiggle it. Let her wake up. I'm gonna glow plug it, and we'll be back in a second for the crank. And that's probably good enough. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You can do it. That's it. Come on. Yep, 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 yep. Come on. Starter didn't even get hot. There it goes. Now we'll let this warm up. Now it hooks around that bottom. The ugly finished result. So I know it looks not good down there, but the important thing is that we've got it pulled back out now, so it's even across there where the radiator sits, even though that doesn't really look like it on camera. It's pretty well even across the front. And we salvaged the bracket for the trans cooler. The condenser is supposed to sit in this on one of these rubber pedestals. I think I can take a flathead and bend these little tabs up and put the rubber chuck back in there. This part is actually sitting lower now than the driver's side, but I can probably put a piece of foam underneath here just to help hold the radiator and keep it away from these sharp corners. We had it looking pretty good earlier, but it wasn't far enough out yet. We had to keep pulling until we got this straightened back up. But look at the clearance we have between the radiator and the brace that goes from the bottom of the core support to the top. Tons of room, just like it should be. The hose can actually move between it now, which is good. So I'm pretty confident with all of that. Like I said, it looks rough right there on that corner, but it's okay. We also got the core support pulled back out nice and straight. The top portion, our headlights are lined. There you go. Headlights are lined back up in the fenders. This one's just a little bit off at the bottom. Probably needs to be pulled somewhere right in here, just a touch. While the hood is bent, I'm hoping that the hinges are okay. It looks like the brunt of it just happened right here at the front, where of course the hood latches down. So I think if I can just find another black hood, it should just bolt right onto the pre-existing hinges. They don't. Well, I wish I could say it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, but it's not. It's cold. It's like 39, 40 degrees out this morning. So not, I mean, you know, there's a bunch of snowbirds flying around. Probably can't see them. And we've got a trailer full of old junk lawnmowers and some scrap iron. And what we're doing is, oh look, there they go. Hundreds of them. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down here and get rid of our scrap iron in exchange for either the parts or I guess the money to buy the parts to fix the Escape. Dad came over here Monday or Tuesday and checked. They do have, he said, 2 Ford Escapes, both of them black, which is exactly what we need. He did not look to see if either one of them were a 6-cylinder. I'm kind of thinking order the radiator and the condenser brand new offline. But if one of these has a decent looking one in it, and you know, it'd be like 10, 15 bucks here, I'll just buy it here. Either way, that's what we're doing. We're gonna get rid of these lawnmowers and scrap iron and hopefully make enough money to buy all the parts. I also have a full load of aluminum radiators, well, aluminum copper radiators, that we've been saving from work at the shop. So I have all of those that also can be sold today too. I've only got one person, and that's me, okay? And one trailer. I can only pull one trailer at a time. So one load at a time. We'll be back. Well, I'm headed to the scrap iron pile now, but check that out. There's an Escape right there. It looks like a blue one, but there's gonna be our whole front end, bumper wise, core support, all that good shit. And Dad said there is a black one somewhere. We're gonna have to find it. Okay, we're back from the first trip with all the junk, lawn tractors and heavy iron. I don't even remember what it weighed. I think I came in at 9,000 something, and we emptied out at 7,800, something like that. Either way, it was about $90 and some change is what we got from that one. Now, I have another load here. All these are radiators. These are ones that we save after doing work at the shop. You know, most individual customers and stuff don't want their old radiator when you put the new one in. Some of them do want to see it. So when we take them out, install your new one, we save the old one so that you can, you know, look at it, see if there's visible damage or see where the crack, whatever was causing it to leak, we can show you. And then typically after that, the customer doesn't want it, and I don't blame them. They're just gonna have to take it home, and most people don't recycle these anyway. So we keep them, and then I bring them home, and I put them in a big old pile in the barn and wait till we get a bunch of them. So here we go. Now some of these are AC condensers, which are different because they are clean. Like these right here, this is just all solid aluminum. It's not dirty as it's considered by the scrap place. So like a dirty one would be these that have the plastic ends on them. All that stuff still considered dirty. Now they also have brass fittings in them. Right here you can see, and here, and well, that one's already screwed out. There's some up in there. Those brass fittings, you can remove that, and there's a lot of times a brass core inside there, and that's where your transmission fluid cycles through. The brass core is what keeps it separated from the coolant itself. take this in. I can't remember what it's bringing. I think it's 20 cents a pound or something like that, which, you know, it's not much, but better than nothing. And maybe this will get us some cash to put the Escape back together and a little bit of cash to put towards Christmas, since it's right around the freaking corner. This video probably won't even get posted before Christmas, which is what's sad, but it takes so long for me to make one of these videos, especially repairing a car like this, because I don't have the resources and the money and the time, especially, to tear one apart, go buy the stuff right then, come right back home, put it all together and have it done in a day. You know, it takes weeks to do this. So unfortunately, that's just how it works. But let's go get well, we gotta wait on Dad to get here first. Then let's go take these off. Dad's grabbing Taurus parts. I picked 2 Escapes clean to get what I need. None of them had a good bumper cover on it though, unfortunately. And then the one bumper cover they have, this is the correct one without the molding and stuff on it. It's so chalked and faded, it's not worth getting. It's about to be ripped too. But luckily I got the grill, got the water pump. Don't judge me, that was a new water pump on a car. And I got the new tensioner for the water pump because it was a new one. And I got the belt because it was a new one. And I got the transmission cooler, and then I've got the bumper support. I've got the brackets, and then over on the other side of the yard where I pulled parts off the first Escape we started with, I have a new radiator. It's literally a new one someone put in the car and then wrecked it, and they didn't wreck it in the front. Radiator's new. I got the condenser out of it, and I also got the hoses off the radiator because they were Gates and they were brand new with stickers on them. So let's go get all this crap. Oh, and the hood, it had a black hood on the other one. It was black. This one's actually blue, the other one's black. Got the hood too. So let's take all this shit up to the front and see how many monies we owe them. Also, I don't know if I updated you or not. The money we collected for the radiators and stuff, it was about 110 bucks. So we're not doing too bad. We're right at 200 bucks for the day. So let's see what all these parts are gonna cost. Plans, the one's got the possum living in it. We decided to salvage the bumper. It doesn't look great right now. It's kind of chalky, but it's actually not weather cracked like I thought it was. Has the fog lights in it and they're not broke. So I can hit this with some gray spray and it'll look just fine. Now we got to get our haul back in and now figure out how much money we spent. And accidental speed run on the rebuild. So I better stop and show you what I got going on so far. I just threw that bracket on the ground. Lower hoses down there are connected. Transcooler lines are connected. The new water pump is installed. The new belt is on. I could not get the tensioner off because the nuts stripped off. And I don't have those sockets that you can hammer on to take off screwed up stuff, unfortunately. They're at the shop. And we're in the little garage at home, so I can't do anything about that. That tensioner still works, technically speaking. So we're going to leave it on here. I have the new one. I'll take it with me to work at some point and change it. And as you can see, the radiator is sitting in here. I've got the new rubber feet on from the donor car on both sides. It almost lines up on that corner. You know, we were concerned about that. I think it's going to work. I mean, it's in there. It's pretty straight. It's a little low on this side, but I'm not about to go beating that thing up trying to make it right. It is what it is. Anyway, all that stuff looks good. The brackets do line up top. Like I said, it's about 1/4 inch lower on this side. Once again, not the end of the work. Well, probably between 1/4 and 1/8. Fans are in. The coolant reservoir, the line, I guess it's some kind of return. It is hooked up because there's the main feed right here. Goes to the top of the radiator. I'm about to put the top radiator hose on. I did get that new Gates one from the parts yard. Also, I don't know if I even told you guys how much they charged me for all this. It was 100 bucks. Yeah. Everything we got today was 100 bucks. Radiator, condenser, transcooler, both the cooling fans, the harness for the cooling fan, that radiator hose, that belt, that water pump, that tensioner, the cooling fan resistor down here, all the brackets, the bumper support with the fog lights, and the fog light harness. We also got a turn signal switch for a Ford Taurus. Oh, and a body control module for a Ford Taurus. And I got the grill for this. I also got a JDM grill out of a Legacy GT. It's blue, but I might paint it black and put it in my Outback. I don't know. Right now, we have to fix this. Checking in. Got our AC condenser slid into place. Lines are hooked up now. Got our brackets up top on both sides, fully bolted in. It's not going anywhere. The radiator, I had to get creative, so I got this little piece of pipe, this little steel pipe I went and cut that fits down over the nipple that sticks up out of the top of the radiator. Now there's no pressure on it. It's not like in a bind or anything, but because we're lower on this side now where we mangled this, I had to use this to slide down through here and over the nipple because it just barely stuck through there, just a touch. And you can see the gap we've got now. And I was worried that that radiator, you know, moving around could slide out of there. So I got this little piece of steel that I've got over the top of that, and that seems to be working. It keeps the radiator lined up nice, doesn't let it move. I think this is gonna be too high. I think the hood's gonna hit it. So I'm gonna put a mark on it and go put it in the vise and cut it down shorter. It's about total probably 1.5 inches in length. So, but that's in there. Condenser's bolted in there now. The new trans cooler is installed, bolted in. I stuffed this piece of foam because I got a bunch of this insulation foam. I stuffed a piece of it down here around the corner where these edges are all rough looking to hopefully keep some of the vibrations off of the condenser. I don't want it to rub a hole like into the plastic radiator or against the frame or something. So that'll work for now. Power steering cooler, I straightened this up. There's still a small kink in it, but it's fine. It's not leaking. It wasn't leaking before. I got it bolted in. It is not touching anymore. This is the new bumper support. I got this frame rail all straightened back up. These are the ones off the donor car. I got both of them just in case I needed them. That one is okay, believe it or not. I loosened the bolts on the right side so that it can pivot around just a little. And I'm gonna try to fit the bumper support, the crash bar, essentially. Now, believe it or not, it fit almost perfect. So, got all 4 bolts back in it, tightened down. Better pick the keys up before I lose them. Really starting to look like a car again. Look how happy she is. Little old escape. Let's go grab our bumper cover, I guess. I guess we're at that point. Yeah, let's go put the bumper cover on. Guess what? No, it's not chicken butt. The bumper fit pretty good. I know it doesn't look great because it's got all these pressure washer marks on it. I think we're just gonna scuff this thing up, hit it with some gray, call it a day. And in case you didn't notice, we flipped our lid off. It's time to go grab the new hood and see if it lines up. It's getting really windy and really cold. I can see my breath pretty good now. I'm about to have to fire up our buddy heater, but I got to figure out where to, ready heater, but I have to figure out where to put it so I don't like cook something. And maybe move that can of brake parts cleaner. Anyway, let's go get the hood, stab it on there, and see how this looks. That was a big pain in the ass to do all by myself. But look how good that matches. So my gap's not, you know, great on this side. And it's even tighter over here. I want to reiterate, we've had this car for a long time. She has 330,000 miles on it now. Okay? This was not pretty what we did. But the hood latches. Everything kind of lines up. The hood is the same color. I am okay. If you're a body person and you want to come fix this for me, by all means. But as far as me doing it, like we even got a little overlap, not overlap, but it's slightly higher on the fender side. And this building's about to get ripped out of the ground because of this windstorm we have. But just admire it for just 2 seconds. Look at this. Let's put the grill in. Piece de resistance. Yep. Fired it up. Working on bleeding the coolant system now. The grill, I think I'm missing some kind of clip that goes across the bottom of the bumper. It doesn't want to fit like it's supposed to. So I'm going to run a zip tie through it and pull it back so it stays. We don't know. We still have no exhaust. I completely forgot about the lack of exhaust. It's like wrapped around the rear axle. It's going to all have to be just chopped off and probably just need to get the exhaust off another one and put a piece of flex in it like I had before, because this is, I'm not driving it around. It still has both the manifold converters, and then it goes into a Y pipe, into one pipe, and then it's supposed to go to the third converter. I cut the third converter off a few years ago because it stopped up. I don't know. Well, here's what we got. Temperature hand sitting in the middle. I've got good heat coming out of the vents. Check the odometer, 325. So I think this is gonna be okay. I don't see any reason it's not. And we're not leaking anything. Everything's nice and dry. Just need to figure out how to zip tie that grill in, and she's gonna look like a car again. I'm pretty happy to see this working out. That bumper looks like trash. We're gonna have to paint that, even if I just scuff it up and paint it gray. I mean, that looks, well, I mean, considering what the car looked like before, that looks, you know, this looks pretty dang good, but I know what it could look like before it got wrecked. So, and the hood's on. I don't know if I even showed that. I put the hood on. Yeah. Oh, I did, because I shut the hood and said we need to put the grill on. And now the grill's on, so yeah. It's the following morning. Here she is, all put together out in the light. I'd say it's time to, well, let's take it around the block. There we go. I got the trim pieces underneath the best I can get them for right now. I'm missing a bunch of clips that were broke. And of course they broke at the salvage yard when I took them off the parts car. On the bright side, all the major stuff is now done. We still have no exhaust. So we'll take it to the shop and we'll cut off all the bent stuff that's underneath, because it's a mess underneath there. But I don't do any welding. My sister is actually a welder. She's the one that does that. But I don't have a welder here or anything for her to use to fix this with. So what we're gonna do is drive it, make sure it still drives okay. We can't really listen for weird noises because the car's too loud. And that's it. We'll wrap this one up. I'll have to carry it to an exhaust shop. I can see my breath. It's cold. Yeah, I'll carry it to an exhaust shop, get them to weld up some kind of muffler on there. The cat and everything, still, the ones on the front are fine. That's going to cost me a fortune to have all new pipe ran out the back. So I might see about trying to get some from the junkyard. The problem is when they pick them up with the forks, it usually bends the exhaust underneath. So maybe we can rig something up. I don't know. Let's go drive. Contact. Oh yeah. See how it does? Seems to drive pretty good. The steering wheel is even pretty much still straight. So, I mean, I didn't expect too much damage there, but it's just loud as piss. Survived the test drive. I'm gonna call that a victory. Looks just like she always did, pretty much. Let's see if we're puking anything. Nah, just normal heat sounds from the exhaust, but no leaks. Looks pretty much dry. I see a little bit right here, but I think that might have been from yesterday, where I spilled all that antifreeze. The front mount right here, the top part, like up on top of this, has like a little cup, and it caught a bunch of the coolant. So I still had heat. The reservoir wasn't low. I checked it before we started this. I know that bumper doesn't look great, but the hood looks better than the one that was on it. The paint that was on the hood was all chalk in and coming off, especially up here. There's a dent in this one right about there, but it looked like the roof, like that. That's what the whole hood was starting to look like. But I don't think that looks bad at all. Now we'll get it washed up really good, maybe even hit it with the buffer, spray that gray. And this headlight got a crack in it over here on the side. I didn't realize it, so I need to find a headlight, which the salvage yard had some, but then that one's gonna look better than that one, so I might just get a pair off of like eBay or Amazon or something, just some cheapo ones. I think they'll work fine. The plan for this car, before we wrecked it, I was gonna drive this thing into oblivion until it just wouldn't go anymore. Of course, do maintenance on it to prevent it from just grenading, but with over 300,000 on a Duratec and an automatic Ford Escape, and it looks like it's going to be okay to keep going. But if the transmission or the engine or something, you know, like that catastrophic lets go, I've decided we will not save this car. The body is still, you know, other than what we fixed, it's in good shape. These Escapes are known for rotting at the rear wheel arches and the strut box. This one hasn't seen too much salt. I mean, it's been through some, but the boxes are still in pretty decent shape. They are getting crusty, but they're not rotted through or anything now. No warning lights, still has cats on it. And honestly, I bet it'll go a pretty long while. I hope, anyway. We'll keep an eye on everything, and that's gonna be a wrap for this one. As you saw, we started with a wrecked Ford Escape, and for about, let's see, they charged me $100 for everything, and a couple of those parts go to a Ford Taurus that Dad's working on, and the extra grill and stuff that I bought goes in my Subaru Outback once I paint it to match. But so for $100, even though that's really not what we have in it, that's what we have in it. We'll say $100 because I put some antifreeze and crap in it too. So there you go. For $100, we fixed this wrecked Ford Escape, and it looks just like any other Ford Escape going down the road. Thank you all for watching. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. We'll catch you in whatever we decide to work on next.